Hello and welcome to the project review for MRK 240 Applied Public Relations at Cedar Crest College. This set of slides is going to talk about the final project. This project is really the culmination of your marketing public relations experience. During the course of the semester, you'll be completing many parts of a marketing public relations campaign, and here what you're going to be doing is wrapping the campaign up and putting together the formal piece of a plan. And you'll want to look to Chapter 14 and Appendix 1 of Marketing Public Relations for some details. Then I'll take you through the pieces step by step, and I'm going to actually refer you to some of the readings to get further detail about the specific elements of the marketing plan. Before we get started with the actual elements of the plan, though, I want to talk briefly about how the plan is going to be graded. It's going to be very similar to the way that I look at your assignments and I look at your online grading. First of all, I want to look at the level of analysis apparent. How deep are you going? How much are you thinking about marketing and public relations? Then I want to see your use and your depth of research. I want to see both scholarly and popular sources. So when I talk about scholarly, I'm talking about something like the Journal of Marketing or the Journal of Marketing Research or the Journal of Consumer Behavior. These are available through Crestman Library. Some you may need to go out to Intercollege Loan, but certainly available to you. And then popular sources are just general popular business sources. It could be the Wall Street Journal, the business section of the New York Times. It could be Marketing Management Magazine, Sales and Marketing Management, all sorts of business publications that are out there. Certainly good business and scholarly websites can be used as well, although I caution you not to rely strictly on websites. And I really discourage the use of Wikipedia. It's a great place to look for potential sources, but don't make that your source. From there, I'm looking for your ability to relate the issues of your company to the class discussions and readings. And I also want you to be able to incorporate current events and business issues into your answer. In marketing public relations, it's really about riding the wave of public events. We're looking in public relations to get media mentions and spread word of mouth about a product, about a company. And so in that context, current events are very relevant, and I want you to bring some in. Then I'm looking really for the strength of your strategy. I'm going to read your plan and say, can this be done? Is it logical? Is there a quality and depth to it? Is it feasible? Can a business person actually come and do this? And lastly, your ability to communicate. As we've talked about so many times in this course, it's important for marketers to be able to get their point across. But especially within public relations, the people you'll deal with on a daily basis are people who work with the English language. They are people who are used to writing well. They expect to see clear, concise, well-written pieces, and I'm expecting that of you in this project. Okay, so the first element of the project is to put together a problem definition. Basically, this is a broad statement telling me and telling whoever might be reading this plan what your planning efforts are for. What is the basis for your goals and strategy? Usually, this is about putting together a marketing public relations campaign to increase sales, to increase brand awareness, to get media mentions for your product, your brand, your company, and to increase word of mouth. From there, we want to look at positioning and also a bit about the resources that you have available to you. So from a positioning standpoint, we want to look at how the company that you're working with or the brand or the product stands relative to its competitors in the eyes of its customers. So that's the basics of positioning. That's something you should have gotten pretty well from the readings and other discussions in the class. And then I want you to identify the resources that you need. What sort of time, money, people will you need to implement this plan? And you could see Marketing Public Relations on pages 22 to 24 to get a better idea of what we're talking about. And also as you're going through this, you should have gotten some insight from both the Larimer and the McConnell and Hubo books. The next piece is I want you to identify your target markets. Now, from Principles of Marketing class, you should have got a good understanding of how we do this. What makes a market segment viable as a target market? And once you've figured that out, you need to define that target market or markets. There could be several, and I want to caution you about getting too many. One is a really good idea, but some products may have multiple. I would say go no more than 3, even if there are more than 3 markets for your product, but one is certainly fine. And I want you to define this market or markets by demographics, things that are quantifiable, age, income, education, those sorts of things. Psychographics, those less tangible things like lifestyles and values, and behavioral factors. How do people actually behave relative to products or markets? Again, you can find out more about this in the readings, Marketing Public Relations, between pages 56 and 64. The next piece is cross-functional interactions. Now here we're basically talking about the fact that public relations does not appear in a vacuum. There are other marketing functions that are going on simultaneous to public relations going on, and there are also other business functions that are going on. Strategic planning, investor relations, human relations, employee relations, those sorts of things are happening all the time in an organization. And as marketers, we've got to be aware of how what we're doing in the public relations sector is interacting with the other pieces of the business. And for this, you can look at Marketing Public Relations pages 16 through 22 and 32 through 46. The next thing we need to do is set out our goals and objectives. Now, remember, anytime you put together a plan for business, essentially what we're doing is we're doing a brief analysis. We're saying, where are we now? What's our current state? Where do we want to be at some future time, and how are we going to get there? So the things we've done up to this point are the where are we now pieces. The goals and objectives are the statement of where do we want to go in the future. And what I like to do when putting together goals is to put together a list of goals that are SMART, S-M-A-R-T. And those I've defined in Marketing Public Relations on pages 46 and 47. Basically, what I'm asking you to do is put together a list of goals that are specific, that's the S, measurable, the M, going to become very important toward the end of the plan, that they're measurable, that they are achievable, we can get them done, that they're relevant, and when we talk about relevant, I mean relevant to the mission of the company and the positioning statement that we put forth before, and they are time-bound. It is very important that our goals end at some point, that we know when we want to achieve them by. Otherwise, they're just open-ended, and they really don't have any strength. Once we get that together, it's time to say, okay, how are we going to get there? Given our current state, how are we going to go and achieve our goals? And that's what I want you to do next. The statement of strategies and tactics is really answering the question, what are you going to do to achieve your goals? Okay, it's going to be a description of your overall marketing public relations strategy supported by statements of tactics, spelling out what you're going to do. This is what we want to accomplish. We said that in the goals. This is how we're going to get there. And that's what the assignments, that's what all the readings sort of add up to. Chapters 5 and on really talk about different strategies that we can use within marketing public relations to make things happen. So it's going to be about using press releases and events and social media and all of those things that are the heart of this class that are going to be put together into a cohesive strategy. And then, at the end, I want you to put together a timeline and a budget. Now, I want to caution you here, or just suggest that the timeline is really what I'm looking for. Marketing public relations typically is an exercise in getting people to organize what we need to be done. Many of the things we do within marketing public relations, certainly press releases, media relations, social media stuff, is not about spending money, but it's about doing things. So that's what I want to see in the timeline. No need to really go heavy on the budget. If you think there's going to be some particularly large costs, if there's going to be a particularly large event that's going to cost money, I'd like you to talk about it here, but otherwise really concentrate on the timeline. If there's no budget laid out here, that's not a problem with me, but there must be a timeline. And then measurement and analysis. It's very important that you're able to judge your success. Did we achieve our goals? How do I know? By how much? Did I achieve more than I set out to? Less than I set out to? We want to look at some goals for analyzing what's going on. So this, again, is just about monitoring and interpreting the effectiveness of your campaign. This allows us to reflect on what we've done and say, okay, we did this well, we didn't do these other pieces well, how are we going to improve this when we go to the next step? And you can find out more about this in Marketing Public Relations on pages 65 and 66. This is the last bullet. This is what the project is going to look like. This is the framework. Realize that when you do this in a real-world setting, the 7 assignments that you do will also be sections in the plan. And if you wanted to go over that with me, I'm happy to meet with you in person to help you combine your assignments with this final project to give you a PR plan that you can use as a portfolio project. So if that's something you want to do, please get in touch with me, and I'd be happy to help you out with that. Certainly, if you have any questions about this format, post your question to questions and comments or shoot me an email.